Hey, welcome everybody. Jeff Frick here with theCUBE. Well, it is an exciting day, and we're really happy to be covering it. Big announcements coming out of Google Next today, and we wanted to get right down here to SAP's Silicon Valley headquarters and talk to Sam Yen and get his take on what's happening up in San Francisco today. So first off, Sam, great to see you.
Yeah, great to see you as well.
So Sam, you are the managing director of SAP Silicon Valley. Obviously you guys have a big presence in Philly and a big presence here in Palo Alto, and also the chief design officer. So let's just jump into it. So Bernd Leukert was on stage with Diane Green this morning, kicking off the Google Next conference and talking about this new relationship between SAP and Google.
Yeah, I think, first of all, it's the trend in what the industry is happening right now. If you look at companies are more and more willing to go to the public cloud in terms of helping them with their infrastructure needs. The market is actually really going to double between now and 2020. So with that, we have three major announcements that we announced today. The first one was SAP's flagship products running on GCP, Google's cloud platform. The first one is HANA. If you know anything about SAP, HANA has been our data processing engine, our in-memory processing engine for the last number of years. It's our flagship product that we've been talking about, and that's now certified for GCP. The second thing is really more for it's still part of the first announcement, but for the development community, bringing HANA Express, which is a downloadable version of HANA that you can put on your laptop and really kind of get to know what HANA is all about, see how easy it is to develop on top of HANA. So that's now available on Google Cloud Launcher. Also, SAP's cloud platform is also going to be, we're working very closely together to co-innovate together with Google on that. The second part of the second announcement is taking infrastructure as a service to the next level. SAP has always had a multi-cloud strategy, offering customers choice and where they wanted to deploy their on public cloud, and Google is now available from that perspective. But beyond just infrastructure as a service, we want to partner with Google to take things like data privacy and protection to the next level by offering transparency over how customers monitor and understand what's going on from a governance risk and compliance perspective on their information. The last thing, which is really exciting as well, is bringing together productivity tools together with SAP. Google's G Suite, things like Mail and Sheets and Hangouts and things like that, and making that integrate seamlessly into the SAP backend systems as well.
So many layers to these announcements, and thank you for kind of laying it all down.
Sure.
The first one, just at a high level, is clearly enterprises are comfortable with public cloud. I mean, there's no more enterprisey software firm out there than SAP, and for you guys to really kind of get together with Google and Google Cloud, that really shows that the conversation is no longer about should I go to the cloud, or is the cloud safe, or is it appropriate for enterprise, but enterprises are fully all in.
That's definitely the trend. I would say customers are different kind of in their journey, but more and more we're seeing that, and the numbers that I talked about it in terms of the investment and spend for public cloud is growing through the roof. At the end of the day, SAP, from an SAP perspective, and also from a Google perspective, we want to provide as many options for customers as we can. And we think that by doing this, we're providing the best potential solutions for where a customer thinks that they need to be today and tomorrow.
Right, and it's really about workloads, right? It's not even specifically about customers, because you guys still have Google Cloud, or excuse me, SAP Cloud recently, HANA Cloud Platform recently renamed. So, you still have your own cloud if they want their own, kind of enterprise cloud that you're going to run for them. Obviously, they can run SAP on their own internal cloud. Now you're saying they can run SAP on Google's cloud. So but it's really more workload and application and use case specific as opposed to a company.
Yeah, and I think ultimately options for the customer in terms of their particular situation. Yes, SAP will continue to have our own hosting, our own cloud as well. But you also mentioned SAP Cloud Platform. So there's many different ways from a platform as a service perspective. Enterprise services that we provide from an SAP perspective, running on Google's infrastructure, and also leveraging the Google services that they provide on their cloud platform as well.
Right, and another piece that you said kind of towards the end of many announcements happening today is really the developer angle. Every show, we cover 100 shows a year, and everyone is fighting for the attention of the developer and really trying to cater to the developer, because that's where the power is. And you want a robust developer ecosystem because that's what moves things forward. So this is a pretty interesting announcement now that developers can basically download a version of HANA onto their laptop, to have an appeal to help them develop more stuff for you.
Yeah, and I think the broader statement here is we are combining the power of the SAP development ecosystem with the millions and millions of people also in the Google development ecosystem to build solutions for customers. At the end of the day, the power of your offering is really the power of your ecosystem. And it's kind of interesting from being here in a German company, actually in Silicon Valley, from an SAP perspective. Enterprise seems to be the new black right now. There are more kind of consumer brands that are looking at going into the enterprise, and SAP is starting to become more and more an on-ramp into the enterprise for these companies.
And it's interesting because public clouds traditionally, years ago, weren't really thought of as a true enterprise solution, or maybe test dev, but you never run your production workloads. But clearly now that's going away. That said, there's a lot of very specific issues that you have to deal with the enterprise: security, compliance, the rules around the world that are different for data sovereignty, et cetera. So you guys bring a real depth of experience in those areas to this new announcement.
Yeah, I think that's the power of the partnership, right? If you think about Google and the public cloud, the scalability, the availability, the reach of the Google public cloud and their expertise in terms of the infrastructure and the operations, and then you combine that with SAP's experience in terms of what works, from a governance, risk, and compliance perspective. We have an understanding both with customers and their needs, and also working with local governments and the policies that need to be in place. So I think it's a beautiful combination of the two companies.
Now, the next kind of big trend that cloud is helping even accelerate more is AI and machine learning, and we're kind of going to phase two of what was formerly known as big data and Hadoop, but now we're moving to a much more sophisticated version of that, enabled by cloud. Obviously, Google's got a ton of expertise in machine learning and AI. You guys have been doing it on the enterprise side, again, coming together. 1 + 1 makes 3.
Absolutely. This is one of the exciting things that we've also talked about and announced, that we are partnering with Google to really take machine learning to the enterprise use cases. Right? There's so much information that's going through enterprise systems, more and more information as things like big data and Internet of Things and social things are bringing information in. This is a really, really fruitful area where we think there's a lot of collaboration. Also from a design perspective, once you have this information, how do you expose this stuff to the users that makes sense and helps really kind of amplify human capabilities when we're talking about all this technology? Right.
So you're sitting 6,000 miles from Waldorf, 3,000 miles from Philadelphia. How does this change things for you? You said you've been at SAP for a number of years now. You're sitting in the heart of Silicon Valley. What does this mean to you kind of personally, and to, kind of SAP's presence in Silicon Valley to do this partnership with Google, who's just right down the road and clearly one of the main powers?
Yeah, I think it really talks about the importance of SAP's presence here in Silicon Valley. Again, as an on-ramp into the enterprise. There's lots and lots of partners that want to expand their business and figure out how they could bring their services also to the enterprise. It's almost a consumerization of IT, if you will. And really kind of that's SAP's purpose and reason for being here. All right.
Well, Sam, I'll give you the last word. Great event today, really exciting. But before we know it, SAP Sapphire will be upon us. I presume you guys will keep working tomorrow and have something new and special for us in Sapphire?
Yeah. Google and SAP, we're in it for the long term. This is just the beginning, and look out for exciting announcements coming in Sapphire as well.
All right, super. He's Sam Yen. I'm Jeff Frick. You're watching theCUBE. Thanks for watching.